Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session today, the AI show session number 6. It's the last session of this series, and today we are going to focus on gaming and OpenAI. So for those of you who are new to our series, my name is Moria, and I'm the regional reactor PM based in Israel, managing the reactor in Tel Aviv. Together with me today is Jordan Dorr, also part of the reactor team, and Adi Stein, who is not here present but took a great part in planning and executing this series. For those of you who are new to the reactor is a community space where developers meet to learn and connect with each other. We offer free programming on different technical domains. We host in-person as well as online and hybrid events. And if you scan the QR code now, you can reach out to our website and check the list of upcoming events we have. We have events not almost on a daily basis, but wherever you are joining from, you can always visit an online event at the reactor. So in terms of physical locations, we have 12 physical locations, but as I mentioned, due to the fact that we are offering online programming, we have actually participants from over 160 people in the worldwide. So you can still take part, enjoy the community, even if we don't have a physical location, reactor location. You can again scan the QR code and reach our website. We're also managing our communities on meetup.com, on Facebook, and you can find the recordings of our online session available on demand to you on our YouTube channel. I highly recommend you to check out our YouTube channel. Also, today's presentation is going to be recorded. We prepared a link to a series of all the AI show when you can find the previous session as well as today's session available just after this the session will end. Please take a minute to read the code of conduct that we have at Microsoft Reactor. Though it's a online event, make sure to be welcoming, respectful, and considerate to each other in the chat. So as I mentioned, today is the last session. We are going to focus on gaming and OpenAI, and the previous sessions are available on our YouTube channel. During our sessions, we focus a lot on Microsoft Learn, which is a free platform. For those of you who don't know Microsoft Learn, it's a free platform for learning that you can actually visit and take step-by-step learning on different technical areas on your own pace, wherever you are joining from. I took a few myself, so I can highly recommend it if you want to learn about AI, DevOps, data, and so on. You have multiple learning paths available for you on different levels, so you can choose the preferred level and the preferred area that you want to skilled, and you can actually start doing that today. Lastly, I want to present to you a survey that we are conducting together with our business partners, how to grow your business using Azure OpenAI. So if you're a business joining us, please feel free to scan the QR code now. You can please dedicate 1 or 2 minutes to complete this survey. So I'm going to pass it over now to Lebo, which is based in South Africa. Lebo is going to moderate the session today and present the speaker. So Lebo, over to you.
Thank you so much, Moria, and good evening, everyone. My name is Lebogang Madise. As Moria introduced, I'm based out of South Africa, and I look after our developer audiences. So today we've got a jam-packed AI show for you. I will be moderating the comments. So if you're joining us from YouTube, please feel free to ask your questions or leave the comments, and we will broadcast it to our presenters so that they can address them. So today we've got 4 speakers. Doing the introduction, we have Onur Koc, as well as who's the Regional Technology Officer at Microsoft. So he'll be doing the opening pitch, followed by Andrew Vijfroskwerk, who's the Senior Cloud Solution Architect for AI for the CIMA region. And he'll be talking about the Whirlwind tour into Azure OpenAI for gaming. After Andrew, we'll have Ahmed Skavasensberg. So I'm going to ask Moria if you can maybe switch to the next slide for me. Thank you. So we've got Ahmed, who is the CTO for Microsoft for Startups at Microsoft, and he'll be taking us through a Harry Potter demo and beyond from TechWorks. And then last but not least, we've got Diva Ackerman, who is the DM&D Games co-founder, and he's going to do a demo about Play is All You Need. Thank you so much. Without any further ado, I'm going to welcome our first speaker, Onur Koc.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. It's great to be with gamers and creators. And welcome to the SEMA OpenAI Gaming. I used to work in engineering and in Microsoft, and 3 years of my engineering time, I was in Xbox team, Xbox One. So the gaming is dear to my heart. We are here today fueled by our shared passion for innovation and boundless imagination for gaming. No matter how old we are gamers, right? Like kids. And now we have OpenAI and generative AI technologies are changing the gaming experiences. With the AI technologies, we are unlocking completely new experiences. Just imagine the possibilities ahead of us. Like picture a game, for example, where an AI-powered, non-playable characters possess incredible lifelike behaviors, responding every actions with unprecedented realism, challenging us developers and the users and the gamers. Envision a world where everything around us, creative collaborators, are creators, game creators, studios, creating breathtaking landscapes, storylines, dynamic guests, pushing the boundaries of interactive storytelling. So I'm an old, still a classic guy. I'm a fan of Halo. Imagine infinitive combinations of environments, enemies, challenges, ensuring that no two game experiences are ever the same. And let's not forget using the potential of AI-powered game design and testing and algorithms becoming our co-pilots, optimizing the experiences. All of them are possible today. So I hope today with the training, with this session, we explore these frontiers, ideas, and together we can show you some possibilities where human creativity and AI can merge together in gaming. So have fun, enjoy, and see you around.
Thank you, Noor. And Andre, I see if you're ready with your presentations, we can go over to you.
Yes, I'm ready. So, hello, everyone. How do you hear me and see me? Is everything working? Okay, I hope yes. So my name is Andrei Vykhotsev. I'm based out of Ljubljana, Slovenia, and I'm a cloud solution architect for SEMA Southern Eastern Europe, working with partners. So today I want to talk with you about Azure OpenAI service, which is coming out of our partnership with the wonderful OpenAI company. And this is, sorry. This partnership led to us introducing a first-party product called Azure OpenAI, which is available from Microsoft Azure Cloud. Right. So the product itself is a set of so-called large language models. Right. Everybody heard these days about ChatGPT and how it is changing many different areas in creative space and in many industries. So what does it do? This is a managed service that provides you access to certain functionalities, mostly around text, but also a lot of functionalities are so-called multimodal. So you can both combine images and text together. And Amit is going to talk about more the imaging side of things. For me to introduce you the basic operation of the services is. You can it's a language model that you can talk with in a plain English language. So you can ask it for let's say a tagline for an ice cream soup, and that's an example of generation scenario. Or you can ask it to summarize something or like give from a text introduce like classify it in one or more categories. So you can also write code with it. You can give a written description of the code, and you can say like, please generate an SQL query from the certain parameters, and it will generate that query for you. And moreover, you can translate one languages to another. And this is what powers actually our Copilot program, Copilot product that is available in GitHub. Sorry, Amit, can you please remove that video from the PowerPoint, because I think this is causing some content problems that are popping up. So let me just do a quick demo of how that service works on the basic level. You have a playground. You can provision it, first of all, you can provision it via Azure like any other service, and you will have access to this playground here. Only you have to request access, right? So it's not, it's even though it's generally available, but still for the purposes of responsible AI, we have gating, so every customer and partner have to go through the, form to register for the service. So let me try to paste some prompts in. So let's start with the example of summarization. I can have, I can paste let's say, combat log from Dota and ask it to summarize that combat log, right? And this is an example of summarization. Of course, you have to, here, I actually messed up a little bit because I didn't set the required number of tokens. This is something that is kind of a currency for this service, right? So everything here is priced in terms of like how many tokens do you send and how many tokens do you get back. But you see here, it already gave the result. So given that, huge, unreadable log, it gave me a summary, although it was severely shortened, right? So I can also say, and as an example of generative kind of use case scenario, I can try to ask it to come up with the description of imaginary hero from the Mad Max universe and create a cover story monologue for the opening video introducing that character, right? And let's see what it will come up with. So it says, my name is Max, I'm a survivor of the wasteland and living on the edge of the law and the chaos of the world. I'm a loner, but I'm not alone, right? So this is a interesting description of this character. And now I would like to demonstrate you another mode that we support via the ChatGPT model. So there are certain models that are more suited for, let's say, interactive interaction with humans. And most prominently, this is GPT-3.5 Turbo, which is the same model that is underlying the ChatGPT. So I can go here to the chat experience and I can say, you are now this character, right? So I can say you should behave like this character, and I'm pasting the character description. And now I will have a bot that will talk with me as if it's a Mad Max. So I can ask it like, who are you? And it introduces himself, and I can ask like, how did you get here? And it says, I've been wandering the wasteland as long as I can remember. I have faced many challenges along the way. Okay, so let me ask it, how do you deal with raiders? And dealing with raiders is never easy, but I have developed my own strategies over time, and so on and so forth. And you see here, this is a kind of content filtering in action, because sometimes when it becomes gruesome and it becomes about violence, you get this sort of content filtering, due to the safety kind of measures introduced by Microsoft due to responsible AI principles. So that was the basic demo of the operation of the product. So let me just go back to the presentation. So like you have just seen, these are the use cases where Azure OpenAI shines. And I have not touched yet the fourth case, which is semantic search, and this is where I would like to focus next. But before we go there, I have to make an important point. So you have to understand the limitations of technologies. Azure OpenAI is a great service that implements a general purpose language model. It has a big, it has understanding of different domains. It has, great abilities dealing with unsupervised data. But it has also sometimes it's going to be less optimal, as if you trained on your data and measured the result, and sometimes it's gonna kind of create the content that doesn't exist. Especially if you would like to create a certain scenario that is kind of business critical and or like life critical scenarios like medical applications and so on, you have to use something that is called grounding, and which is I'm going to mention next. Azure OpenAI is typically never a single component in any real architecture. So in any real life application that you will build, Azure OpenAI will be complemented by many other services that we have, and you see some of those here. I will not stop on each and every of them. But I would like to go into a very important concept that always goes along with any kind of Azure OpenAI discussion, and that is a retrieval augmented generation. So people often ask, how do you actually put your data into this huge generic language model? And oftentimes they think they really need to retrain that model, which is in 95% of cases is not required, right? And it can also make the matters worse in many scenarios. So the way to deal with this is externalize the data. So you kind of combine the external search engine with your with the large language model, where you first search for your question in some sort of database, and that can be like a search index that incorporates your game logs, your SharePoints, everything that you have in your enterprise, and then feeds the result into large language model. So here is the anatomy of this kind of application. You have orchestrator on top, and I would like to tell you what orchestrators are. And you have knowledge base indexed in some sort of search engine, and you have large language model. So these are three main components of, let's say, chat with your data, or like enterprise Q&A or knowledge mining. There are many names for this scenario right now. But essentially, it's about externalizing the knowledge and making it available to the OpenAI. So how do you search for the best document or for the best data? There are two approaches. One is the classical search, and another is to use something that is called embedding. Actually, OpenAI service can give you, instead of the prompt back, it can give you a set of numbers which have wonderful properties. So similar numbers will be for similar, like numbers for similar vectors for similar articles and for similar documents will nicely group together. And by matching the closest vector, you can find the closest document semantically. Sorry, my throat is a little sore. So let me show you how do you implement that in Azure. And actually, this is fresh from the oven, because we just introduced this functionality, which is called chat with your data, right? And here, apologies, something went to my throat. Here, I actually indexed, sorry, I have to drink a little water. So here I indexed a bunch of Catan rulebooks that I downloaded from the internet. So these are just PDF rules for different variations of the Catan board game. And I also downloaded a few Wikipedia articles and few online articles and printed them as a PDF and put them into Azure Blob Storage here. So now I can tell my my chat GPT, my playground, to take that data in and ingest it and answer questions based on that data. So here, if you do that from scratch, you will go for this route. You will create Azure, you will specify the Azure Blob Storage, you will specify the container, and it will create an index with a product called Azure Cognitive Search. I already did that for the purpose of speed. And here I have a prepared index, which I can choose. And then also, I mostly press next here. I also can configure something called semantic search. And I can, and I'm done, right? So the only thing I need to do now is to tell that bot what it is, right? To give it some sort of identity. And I will tell it simply that you are a board game advisor for Catan game. Let's say game, right? And now I can ask it questions. Let's say, please explain the game rules. And it says Catan is a board game, and I get an error. That's because it's live demo. How many people can play Catan? Right. So this is the scenario for chat with your data. What you can also do here, you can easily press that button and deploy the end result on Azure web application and have it, here, like I'm showing to you now. Just to prove you that it works, it behaves the same way, right? And it also is coupled with Active Directory authentication, so that nobody, if you try to basically open that web link, it will ask you for AD login. So that's the demo. Let me check how am I doing on time. Okay, I think I have a few more minutes. So let me explain a little bit the orchestration part. The orchestration is something that tends to get complex as well in the real life OpenAI project. The reasoning, the idea behind orchestration is that sometimes the model can also kind of reason for itself, right? So instead of asking a simple question, it can make an instruction for itself that will look like a reasoning chain. So it will come up with an instruction like this. To answer that question, I need to go to a SQL database and run a query, and then I need to go to and use some tool, like, for instance, I'm fantasizing here, like Salesforce, and so on and so forth. And then it will create this chain of thought, and then each chain in this scenario will lead to a particular kind of request to OpenAI, to large language model. And we have actually introduced a great product for that. So in Azure Machine Learning that hopefully you all know and love, there is new functionality that allows you to build those chains easily and to use, it's not a proprietary format that we have, but you can use your favorite libraries of choice. LangChain is one of the most popular libraries, and semantic kernel is another one that is from Microsoft. And this leads to an idea and a very popular trend right now to build copilots, right? You already heard that many Microsoft products have copilots, so most prominently Azure GitHub and GitHub Copilot, and now Copilot X is a great example of a Copilot program, which is integrated into IDEs, into development environment. But you can build Copilot for any possible app. So in here, I want to say that you can also combine those Copilots with like rich capabilities that we have in many cognitive services. For instance, there is a new announcement of the Project Florence that became available, and this project allows you to actually understand images, what is going on in the images, generate captions for it, and also do a very complex architectures, like, for instance, searching the slides on the video, or like summarization of frames, or summarization of videos and images. So, there are many great examples of how do you build and advertise a plugin. This field is gonna be developing very rapidly. And I think Amit also had wanted to show some content regarding plugins. And now over to you, Amit. Hopefully I'm good on time. Amit?
Thanks, Andre. You are just in time. So like a wizard, never too early, never too late. So my name is Amit, and as you can see me in a loop. Let me just share my slides. It will be better for your vision. Okay, so I'm CTO at Microsoft for Startups. And can you see my screen? Great. Okay, so also a lecture in Tel Aviv University about AI. And Andre talked about a foundation model, but let's see how it can be applied to gaming and how it can be applied for several use cases. Let's start with a riddle. What's funny about this picture? Okay, you can see an outdated VGA cable connected into an iPhone. Okay, I understand it, you understand it, but also GPT-4, that is also a vision model, can understand it. And it says that the humor in this image comes from the absurdity of plugging a large outdated VGA connector into a small modern smartphone charging port. Imagine a game when you ask your user, what's going to happen if I'm going to cut the string? Of course, the balloon would fly away. So you can create games and you can make puzzles for your users using this Florence model and GPT-4. Even a cooking game, you show them some recipes and you ask, what can you make? A picture of a fridge. And just to show that this is not a demo, I'm going to show you live demo of this technology. Okay, so let's take, for example, an Xbox X Series X game, and let's ask him to write a song. Write a song. Let's submit this query to GPT-4 until we finish writing a great song about Xbox, gaming, Minecraft, and Sea of Thieves, and all of our great studios. You can see that you can also take images that are unstructured and summarize and ask them to be summarized. You can take flowcharts, you can take graphs, and you can query them. But let's read the first verse of the song. In a world of pixels and adventure, a console and controller, our treasure gathers round. Friends, let's embark on a journey through the digital dark. Here you can read more about this wonderful song, but listen, you can take images and you can query them, you can create quests upon those images, but let's continue in our journey. So let me share my presentation again. Okay, so you can also test it with our Vision Studio. So if you want to create a game based on video, or if you want to create based on images, you can use our Vision Studio for free, and you can test if this tech is actually works for your game. We also have a speech studio where you can also test how you can transcribe or understand user speech in your game. You can do a custom speech, but more than that, you can create a custom voice. For example, you can create a custom voice of a wizard or whatever you want for your game. And I will show you what I've done with Harry Potter using those tech, the vision and speech text and Azure OpenAI to bring into life gaming. So let's see it.
I got my scar when Lord Voldemort tried to kill me when I was a baby. Lord Voldemort is the most powerful and feared dark wizard in the world. Thank you for warning me.
What did you say? You will pay for those words. I will make you suffer in ways you cannot even imagine. I will cook you like a fish and leave you to bleed out slowly. I will skin you alive and wear your hide as a trophy. I will rip your limbs from your body
and use them to torture your loved ones. I will do things to you that you cannot even imagine, and you will pay for death before I am done.
Developers and players will love it because it is.
Okay, great. So let's go into pictures right now. This was done in 2021. It was amazing, but now it's look like very, very old tech, and we're going to see how you can use DALL-E 3 that is not yet available. And people will ask for an armchair in the shape of avocado. I don't know why, but it was 2021. People didn't have any imagination. In 2022, we had DALL-E, and now you can see it also look very poor to me right now. You can see the around the eyes and the ends. You can see the artifacts and the legs. It was very impressive last year, but again, this is 2022. We're going to talk about outprint and how you can take a outprint. This is inpaint. How you can take a picture and change it. I'll show it live, and how you can take a picture and do an outprint and understand, for example, where does your wizard from the game lives like, and how you can create art that can create an entire rooms for your quest, for your art, for your games. So let's take a girl with a pearl earring by Vermeer, and let's see where she lives. She can also live in a spaceship. I will show you in a second how you can do it. This is called Outpaint. And I show you how we can create a game. And I'm going to create a game with you together in 1 minute. This is the powerful of OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. So let's go and see another live demo. Okay, let's take Bing. I don't know if you use the new Bing, but before that, this is Microsoft Bing Image Creator, and we can ask him to create a logo for a game about chess, about Space Orc. Space Orcs. Okay, let's create it. And we can define and we can create many pictures. You can see in the side that I've created a lot of Rick and Morty style pictures today, and we're also going to create them together. I create logos for game profiles and elves and people that create magic, everything using Microsoft Bing Creator. It's free. And it's based on DALL-E 3. It's more advanced than DALL-E 2. It's supposed to come out publicly quite soon, but if you want to tap into this tech, and this is the logo for the game about space pirate, space orcs. Okay, but let's not do a logo. Let's just take a game and now expand it. A game about space orc. Okay. You know what? I don't know if I'll have a lot of time. So if I have time, I'm going to show how I'm going to expand the image. But let's create a game because it's an AI show about gaming. And if we want to create a game, I created a prompt over here. Okay, this is the pictures that I'm going to expand later if I have time. Okay, let's start a new topic and let's tell him if we can write a story. Let's write a story together. I will start, and after every answer, draw an image in Rick and Morty fantasy world style. Okay, this is the prompt. This is the new Bing. It has to be on creative mode. You see it's pink or purple. This is creative mode because AI have feelings and they have personalities. Okay, so he asked me to start. Okay, yeah, we are talking about space orc. A space orc is coming to the moon. Okay, this sounds very interesting. Let's see how Bing is going to complete using Azure OpenAI. This is the APIs that you can use. Okay, and you will complete my story in a second. Okay. So before I read you what he done, you see what he did here? It's grounding. We're going to speak about in a second. He changed the query and changed it into a search engine in order to get the data, and we'll see how it's work. Okay. So I'll continue the story and draw an image of Rick and Morty in a fantasy world. Rick and Morty were on the way onto the moon when they saw a huge space orc flying toward them. The space orc had a green skin, thus in a metal helmet with horns. He was riding a jetpack and holding a laser axe. He looks angry and angry. Okay, and he also used Rick and Morty language. Let's wait for a second for him to create the image. We can tell him just do a one-liner, and it will be a better prompt because it just wrote an entire story, and I wanted to do it together. There's a lot of stuff here, but it's not together. Okay, I've already made a demo previously, so let's see the picture. I can ask him what happened next, and we'll create an image for every prompt. But look, a beautiful Rick and Morty picture about orc. How will they escape? Okay, so let him continue the story. But this is a game that you can actually use using DALL-E APIs and Azure OpenAI with your Unity or any other game engine. I'm going to show you how to do it today. Okay. And again, he's going to complete the answer. He's going to create another picture. Imagine that you create this game and also send a children's book afterward, or a D&D story when you can send the users their adventures. But let's see a simpler task. Okay, now it's just going to add just one line. Okay, I can write whatever I want, but let him have a one-liner. Here he take a one line, complete another one line, and create an image. Let's see on the demo. And great. So he completes in a short sentence, and right after he completes the sentence, he will create now the image for this story. Great, using Azure APIs and DALL-E. Let's continue exploring what else we can do with Azure OpenAI. Okay, so created logos, but how does Copilot work? So Andre was great, explained us a lot of the behind the tech. I'm going to show you a very quick explanation of the architecture. So prompt, everybody should know by now because you're using ChatGPT. It's when you write ChatGPT a line and you complete the line. So let's see a quick video.
365 Copilot.
Without the sound. So you have your UI, the application UI. It can be a game UI, whatever UI. In this case, you can use PowerPoint, Outlook. In Excel, we have the data of the user. In this case, you have the presentation, you have the docs, the Excels, and of course the calendar of the user, and a large language model, an LLM. It can be Azure OpenAI or any other large language model. And the architecture is very important. Look, when a user writes a prompt, never send it into the large language model or Azure OpenAI, because you need to ground it. You need to know what is the game is all about, what is the user's experience, and you need to customize it. After you ground the prompt, okay, only then you will send it into the large language model, and you create a modified prompt. And this is extremely important, especially in gaming, where you want the experience to be as best as possible, and it's as related to the game world, because people don't like to write much, and they will probably try to manipulate your game. So it's super important to use the data. And again, the response from the LLM doesn't supposed to go to the user. Again, you need to check and ground it again. This is what Andre showed, the RAG, the retrieve augmented grounding before that. Okay, so and after that, you can return the answer to the user. So again, very simple. The UI goes to your data, you ground the prompt, you send it to the LLM, Azure OpenAI, you bring it back to your data, and then to the user. Okay, we already wrote a story together, so save that. Let's look about Codex. Codex is the APIs that help you write code. So OpenAI, you probably know Dota, because it's we're talking to gamers right now. Dota is a 5x5 players. What does it mean? 5 human players placed against 5 other human players. Azure OpenAI allow 5 AI to communicate together to win human players. In this tournament, he won like 99.9 point of the game and took the championship. So what's amazing about it, it's not AI in gaming, because this exists. It's the ability of 5 AIs to strategize against humans and take them by storm. And let's see how it works in Minecraft. Minecraft is also a Microsoft company. You can give them like 5 examples of code, how you can move forward, backward, how you can jump, now can move. It's 4 basic functions, and you can understand the entire API. Let's look at a nice demo.
Minecraft and accompanied by my non-player character named Bootbot. We've continued to build on top of that prompt and given several more examples of the kind of code it can generate to enable new behaviors. I'll start by showing some of the behaviors we showed in the last demo. I'll say, move left a bit. And you can see it generated that same code. I'll say, now right for longer. And we're echoing the code down here in the chat. And you can see that it now interpreted for longer as 2,000 milliseconds instead of the 1,000 milliseconds and correctly moved right. I'll say jump a bit. And it jumps for 1 second. And now I'll say, what directions have you moved? Codex is capable of generating not just code, but also natural language. And in this case, it responded with the dialogue, I moved left, right, and jumped. So Codex can generate code, natural language, and in this case, it's even generating natural language about the code that it generated. Now, we've enabled several complex behaviors just by prompt engineering. I'll show one of those. I'm going to ask it, how do I make a crafting table? It's a very important resource in Minecraft. And it was able to reason over some structured data that was in its prompts to answer, you need 4 oak logs to make a crafting table. Now I'll say, now get those for me. And it's generated some more complex code here, several lines of code, to go mine those 4 blocks, come over to the player, and say, I got your oak logs. So just by generating prompts, just by showing examples of how we can use an API or a library, we're able to generate novel code that handles new behaviors that we never actually showed the model. Show this in action.
So we can create AI companions, but we can do much more. We can also design the game. Look how Copilot works
for everything they do. In fact, we are working with Autodesk to fine-tune the Azure OpenAI Codex model to add such an interface to 3D workflows in Maya. With simple natural language commands, creators will be able to add objects in space and modify them in a scene. change the color and attributes of assets without having to navigate a series of menus, and group, duplicate, position objects in relation to each other. With these actions alone, they have cut what would have been several layers of deep menu commands down to simple natural sentences.
Great. So now let's talk about coding. So I like to write code in Unity. This is how I created the Harry Potter demo. I recommend Rage Against the Pixel API, SDK. Okay, let me show you. This is the website. Okay, and the code is super simple. If you want to, you can use it with Azure OpenAI. You have the instruction right here. Okay, super easy. It's 3 lines of code, but let's see the code. Okay, you just give your own authentication, the key, the resource, the deployment, and then you can use OpenAI in Unity. That's 3 lines of code, and of course, don't forget using OpenAI and OpenAI Chat. Okay, and this is the system prompt that Andre showed you. This is the code. It's a few lines of code, and you can create, and you can create a chat request, get the result. You can even create the commands. Super easy, 3 lines of code to create amazing new experience for players. You can also use those API to call DALL-E to create the stories that I just created with Bing, creating a story, creating a picture with DALL-E, all of 4, 5, 6 lines of code. Can you imagine the world of gaming next year if you will apply those APIs? So let's continue. We talked about the code, but how can you create it? So Andre talked about Azure AI Studio. Let me show you a brief video and explain to you what's important about gaming, especially the AI safety build. And let's say that you don't need AI safety build because in, for example, Call of Duty, you actually want to kill people. And if you want to kill people, OpenAI said, no, you can't kill people, but it's a game. So how do we disable content filter? Let's see how Azure AI Studio is built and how you can disable content filters.
Introducing Azure AI Studio, a full lifecycle tool to build, customize, train, evaluate, and deploy the latest next-generation models responsibly. With just a few clicks, developers can ground AI models with their structured and unstructured data to quickly and easily build customized, cutting-edge conversational experiences for their customers. Developers can take advantage of a new model catalog that works with the popular models organizations use, including those from Azure OpenAI Service, Hugging Face, and many other open source models. With Prompt Flow, developers can combine relevant data from your organization and create a detailed prompt to get better results. Prompt Flow works with Foundation, internally developed or open source models, and uses popular open source tools, LangChain, and Semantic Kernel. And because the AI systems we build are designed to support our AI principles, with Azure AI Content Safety, we are making it easier for you to test and evaluate your AI deployments for safety. This is Azure AI Studio, the trusted tools you need to build the next generation of AI applications.
So Microsoft is building all of its tech and give you the infrastructure to build your own Copilot. The last slide was, the last video was really quick, so let's look at the end. He asked for an X to cut a person, okay? And because those content filters are in place, it will reject the prompt. But what if we are in a game? What if we actually want to cut a person with an X because it's fine, it's a game, okay? So also those content filter moderation, and you can allow violence, okay? So this is how easy it is to even create games and even create content filter with Azure. And of course, so you have native open source model catalog, you have prompt evaluation, you have responsible AI, you have high-scale generation AI app deployment and generation AI model monitoring. And don't forget that the experience is going to change now because AI can be a co-pilot beside your current game. Okay, you don't have to build a new game. You can use it beside. You can put it inside your game. Okay, and of course, you can also use it outside to create a bigger game with with a lot of moving parts and a lot of applications. It really depends on the size of your studio and the size of your manpower. Before I'm going to show you one last thing that we didn't forget about the metaverse. We have Azure Special Anchors. And this is a service that mix between the real world and the digital world. Let's see games that we had like a few years ago. And just remember, it's not AI, it's everywhere. It's not only about gaming.
Sometimes life requires thinking outside the blocks. No pets allowed in the house? Fill the backyard with muddy pigs. Host the perfect pixel party. And craft some compact cuteness. Or build something a bit more heavy metal. Minecraft Earth is at your fingertips. And above your head. And right behind you. Just watch out for surprise chicken showers. Sometimes things don't quite go as planned. Luckily, Minecraft Earth lets you tell your own stories. You can even upscale an epic fish fail. So grab your friends and explore an unbelievable world. Our own. Discover new dimensions to your creativity with Minecraft Earth.
So before finishing, I just want to show you how you can start creating and build. So we have a startup program, okay, called Microsoft for Startups. And we have a special program with Azure, Ideate Azure. So this is our Xbox part for startups. This is Microsoft for Startup. You can register. You can get up to 150K of Azure credit. Depending on your level, you can read more about it and what you are getting, except you are getting a lot of those deployment tools to start your business. And I'm just going to show you Azure at ID and Microsoft for Startups. And we'll get Vir on stage. So we have a great partnership with them, and this is their way to help startups build on. So you can just look for Azure at ID and Microsoft for Startups. I will not waste the time of the users, of the watchers now, the viewers, and you can move to Vir. Vir Ackerman is going to present us. He has his own startup and is building and using generative AI and Azure OpenAI for his last invention. So Vir, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me good? I don't have a feedback for that, so I hope so. One second. So you see me good? I hope so. I believe so. I'll continue. If something is wrong, you'll text me. Okay. So this is us. I'm co-founder of a DM&D game. And about 6 months ago, I met Amit. He showed me some of those stuff. I was blown away from the possibilities. And we founded a little AI lab to start testing the possibilities of what can be done. We are focusing on mobile games, social games. What can be done with this technology? The concept that we took is that if AI is so good, is so great, it's going to make everyone superheroes and make us all efficient. We're going to have a lot of free time. And obviously, in this free time, we're going to probably play more games. So our main research was, if everything is so smart, probably games should be smarter. Are we going to still play Candy Crush, a linear, simple game, as everything else is so smart and progressive? I don't know, maybe. But this is what we start researching. And I'll share my journey, our journey in this presentation. The first thing we did was probably the most simple, probably everybody are thinking about it. How can we have endless content? How can we have a game that the content never ends? We have a game. This is a casual game, mobile game. It's not FIFA. It's themed with football, but it's basically a card battle games. It's card. You draw cards. You progress. You can shoot the goal. You can compete with others. And the first thing we did was researching with GPT. How can this game be different? How can we take this game and reskin it so the game mechanic is the same, but we can change it completely? And we got different answers. Some of them were good, others was better. I'm jumping really fast because this is what I want to show you, the end goal. How a football game became an RPG based on the same game mechanics, but it looks completely different. And this is again the first test that we did. So the game, everything was pre-made, so nothing happened. So we were able to create boundless RPG, endless content, but we have to manually create it, manually create the animation, manually create the asking GPT for everything manually. But everything, all the content, even a little bit of the economy, how the characters are fighting, the balancing was done by a language model. And this is something that for us was super interesting. I'll show you a video. Again, it looks like a regular game. And if you don't know, it was done by generative AI, and most players obviously doesn't care. But the fact that everything here, from the missions to the text to obviously the visuals, everything was made, the cards, the attack, the type of attack, the balancing of the attack, everything was done by a language model, which gave us the opportunity to not worried about if we need to create another 1,000 levels, we can do that. So that was the first attempt, creating stuff in advance. Creating stuff in advance. That was the first thing we tried to do. The second thing was, okay, how can we do stuff during the game? How can we give players control while they are playing and changing? Now, everything, we are in a casual world. Everything was in a concept of trying to be simple. Now, many people use GPT and ChatGPT to create quiz, trivias, a question and answer, any type of that. There are some super interesting challenges we face that. The main thing is sometimes the language models is hallucinating. And not only that it will make up answers, sometimes it will create questions that are not necessarily logical. No, you would, and again, this is a bad example, but it's very easy to understand. Who won the World Cup in 2001? The problem is there was no competition in that year. So we had to find ways to create, okay, so how do you create a question? How do you validate it? And we use different type of techniques. The idea behind this game, it's based on this game is based on a British game show Mastermind, is that every time one of the players, it's a multiplayer game, but every round one of the players is creating the topic. So if I'm good in football or RPG or games in general, I have an advantage if I choose that. And we are able to generate the questions, validate the questions, create answers that are confusing or funny to make the game really nice and fun, and to create that in a relatively short time. So that's the trivia game. I want to move to the most interesting thing that we did, and this is the third answer. And the question I want to remind you was how games will evolve when the technology is so advanced. So at the beginning, we said, okay, let's do just endless content and create the content ourselves. Then we said, okay, maybe we can do some kind of a real-time customization of the game. But this is, for us, was the goal, the hyper-personalization. And for that, we start using Azure and OpenAI. It took us less than a week to take everything that we did and to put it on the Azure platform and to start using the models and the services that they have there. And for us, the goal was to create an environment that will be able to take both player input and the history of the player, so everything that he already did in previous sessions, and to get in the end a custom gameplay. And the value that we got from that is basically to get a real-time content moderation, the ability to analyze everything that we have. And again, it was a simple process, and the value was immediate. So what did we do? And I'm showing you now 3 demos, are all based on the same concepts. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. This is the first one. It's we started to no images, just if the language model is so powerful, we took the New York Times crossword, which is a successful crossword, successful mobile app, and we did a copy of that, but instead of having people creating the crossword, instead of having a database, we are just using this as this. We do the language model, the GPT, as something that creating the daily crossword. If now we don't have anything in the database, but if now I'm asking for the mini pack and I want 20 puzzles in a certain, then I will go and create it. And we have and this is the biggest thing, we have the biggest feature where you can create your own. And the funny thing, we released this game and we figured out few interesting things. The first one, most of the people doesn't really know, what to write, what to create. They would be lost a little bit. And once they do have something, they have 1 or 2 ideas. This is one thing. The other thing that we realized, that once you do it, and we know that from people using DALL-E to create images, that once you do it, once you create, you just write a prompt, but you get a beautiful image, you feel a strong ownership on it. Like, I created that. Even though you didn't paint it, but you are the owner of that. So people that use this feature, they were the owner of this feature. We took this concept and we moved it. Okay, how can we do that with images? How can we minimize what you tell us? Okay, I don't want you to write anything, but with images, it's easy to select. So when you select an image, I can assume, I can start give all kind of hypotheses. Okay, you like this style, you like this art, you like these topics. And then I'm creating a game that is based on, the content is based and built on what I believe you like. And we get to a point that everybody in the game starts with the same simple, and again, it's a very simple use case. It's a jigsaw puzzle game. Everybody starts the same. In this image, you can imagine this is a 2-dimensional random walk visual. So everybody starts from the same position in the middle. But then based on everything that you choose, we start saying, okay, he likes this, he likes that, she likes that. Okay, let's try this, let's try that. And the language model, this is what it's really good about. So we're using the language model as some kind of analytic tool. So if that person, if he likes cats and Paris and hyper-realistic images, what else can be connected to that? What else can he possibly like? And if someone else likes something that is more dark, that is more fantasy, that is more whatever, we are able to create stuff, and we don't have to think about it. It's all happening automatically. So if the first answer that I gave you in the beginning was, okay, let's try to create endless content. The second one was, let's do stuff real time. Then we got to a point that we are able to evolve a game based on what people want. We don't know in advance what they want. We're not trying to analyze what they want. We're just running a service in the backend that try to simulate and understand and hypothesize. Okay, they did this, they did that, let's try this. It's good. Let's continue. It's not responding good. Let's try something else. And it's all based on the language model. And it brings us to the first game and how we can now take it to the next level. It's very similar to what I showed you Andre before and Amit before, because this is, I believe, the really interesting stuff that takes any game and bring it to life. And we have here the game, the previously RPG game that we did, and now I am giving you an option. Okay, choose a hero, choose a character that you want, and once you choose it, you can play or train it in the traditional way, and you can talk to it, the character. I want to show you a demo of this. You'll have to somehow give me some kind of indication that you hear this. I hope you can hear that. Well, I hope you can see that too. Okay. Okay.
Maybe Dev, you can share what we're supposed to hear, because I heard a clicking sound.
Okay. See now, you can you share? You see my screen now? It's
I see a black
screen.
Yes.
Okay, let's give it another second. I'll try to refresh it. Okay, so here's my character, and she's a vampire. I'm able to talk to her the same way that we saw before, that we can talk to Harry Potter, the same way that we saw in Andre's, that we are able to chat with GPT and create some kind of a character. We can talk to this character in with voice. Okay? So, hello, how are you? Can you tell me a story? Oh, I think I missed here. Sorry about that. Okay. Hi, vampire. Can you tell me a story, please? And basically, out of the box, using Azure and OpenAI bundles, we are able to do text to speech, speech to text. Everything is just working. You have to believe me that it's working, because right now, in this demo, I'll give it another try one last time. Hopefully it will work now. Hey, hello, can you tell me a story, please? She'll be able to answer me with her voice or with text. It depends, it changes. The interaction with her is connected to the game. So basically she knows what happened in the game. She knows what I did in the game before. And the conversation is about in the game environment. I'll give it another try. And I'm sorry about that, guys and girls. You know what? I will just give you a link. You'll be able to test the demo later on. I want to conclude our journey of exploring the possibilities of generative AI gameplay. It's the endless possibilities. It's the ability to change stuff in real time. And for me, the most exciting stuff, and we mentioned it also in the beginning of this conversation, it's becoming a unique personal experience that I can get something which is mine, and you will get something that is yours. It's somehow connected because it's the same game environment, but each one of us will get the stuff that he will mostly enjoy and probably most like. So this is us. Thank you very much. I am right now really fast. I'm sharing this also. If you'll be able to test it yourself, the demo, and thank you, Microsoft Reactor, for this opportunity to present everything that we did and for exposing us to the great tools that you have. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Diva. That was a really cool demo. We will share it also in the comments of the video recording so that people can have an opportunity to play with it. It wouldn't be a live demo if something didn't break. So really, really thank you. I don't see any questions in the chat. So I'd like to really do a big thank you to all of our speakers today, kicking off with our first speaker that did the welcome, Onur Koc, followed by Andrew, who did the Whirlwind into Azure OpenAI for gaming demo. And he was followed by Ahmed, who did some really cool demos, especially the one on Harry Potter demo and beyond. And last but not least, Devere. So I see we still have Andrew and Devere. I'm going to bring you onto the stage in case there are any last words that you want to share. We still have time. So Devere, we literally still have 20 minutes left. So if you want to retry the demo, more than happy to see it. Yeah, and if there are any additional links, Andre, that you may want to share, please feel free to share it in the chat so that we can broadcast it for everyone.
There will be a lot of links in my deck, and I hope you can distribute it as a PDF later on.
Okay, no
and
problem.
by the way, Dvir, I tried your demo and it's working for me. It's talking to me. And I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. So thank you all so much. Maybe we can give it a few minutes just to see if anyone in the chat has any questions. And if no one has any questions, then I'm more than happy to let you go. All right. It looks like there aren't any questions from the chat. So this concludes the SEMA AI show series. And I must say, we've edited with, we left it with a bang. Everybody loves gaming. And I think with all this hype around OpenAI and Copilot, it's really great to see the fact that it's being applied in different gaming engines. You know, I saw a demo on Minecraft. I saw earlier on, Amit also mentioned that he does a lot of dev using Unity, and he showed us a couple of his demos. So I'm hoping we can also add to the description a link to his GitHub, because some of the demos that he did were from there. But really, really amazing work to all the speakers, and thank you so much. From all of us at SEMA, it's good night.